Currently, New Zealand has 40,000 plus hectares of vineyards in New Zealand, and we've got 30,000 hectares in Marlborough. New Zealand wine growers in the last 5 years have put together biosecurity plans for vineyards, and in the last year we've actually rolled out for SWINS members, and SWINS members now are 98% of the land area of that 40,000 hectares. We've rolled out some requirements around biosecurity. And like I said, that fits into the Chilean Needle Grass program because we are reinforcing vineyard hygiene and not moving things around. And you think about other things in Marlborough that pose a threat to the vineyards, things like mealybug and the leaf roll viruses and things like garden weevil, and of course Chilean needle grass. I just pushed the forward button. There we go. So we've invested quite a bit of money into our biosecurity resources, and we've now got a pretty good pack of resources for contractors, any vineyard contractors here. Didn't manage to get in them along. A lot of the vineyards around Marlborough use contractors for their day-to-day operational use, so we've got some material for them. But for growers, the main thing is managing people coming onto your vineyard, and we've also produced a notice to contractors. So we'd ask vineyard owners and managers to have a look at this, and if you don't use this, actually draw up your own templates so you can have some dialogue with your contractors around biosecurity. There's just a quick view of the resources we've got available for our SWINS members. We have our SWINS pack, and for anyone else who wants to look at it, we've got a pack here as well, and I've got some over here. Just come and see me afterwards if you want one of those packs. So when you think about our biosecurity plan, it's broken down into action areas. Maintaining a vineyard register, that's how we know that there's 40,000 hectares of vineyard in New Zealand. We've broken it down into action areas like briefing visitors, undertaking biosecurity surveillance, so that's looking in your vineyard, looking for needle grass if it's there, along with other pests and diseases that affect your vineyard. A big one there is machinery and vehicle management. If you are having anything from contractors bringing trimmers, mowers, mulchers onto your vineyard or taking them off again, managing that. If you're bringing on biological materials, anything from young vines to mulch or compost, thinking about where that comes from, or if you're shifting it on, where it's going, especially if you've got needle grass on your property. Managing livestock, that's a big one. Wash down facilities and biosecurity around harvest. Now, I've just picked out the main ones that you've got to think about around needle grass. Briefing visitors. I think might have been even when Ben was at council, there was a photo around of some woofers laying back in a big bunch of Chilean needle grass. So thinking about the people that are coming onto your property, not picking it up in their vehicles, in their clothing, in their tools, signing them in, signing them out, briefing them about the pests and diseases that they need to know about, and not shift around the vineyards. Vehicles and machinery. When we looked at action areas in our compulsory vineyard plans, this is one that sort of came in and out, so it's still just a recommendation, but it's a strong recommendation. And of course, the council here have rules around machinery, of course, and implements. It's a shared responsibility. So you've also got to look at not only your property, making sure they're clean when they come onto your property, but if you've got needle grass on your property, paying it forward and cleaning down and inspecting things before they leave. So a real responsibility for those people with needle grass not to pass on needle grass to their neighbours. Wash downs. There's a couple of things around wash downs. We advocate for size appropriate wash downs. Ideally, if you have into a medium size or larger property, you need to have something that is a concrete wash down with a sump and a good soakage. But if you're in a smaller vineyard, it needs to be size appropriate, and you might not be able to actually justify that capital expenditure. So a gravel pad, but the main thing is that it works, and you're not trailing off mud down the road when your tractors and other machinery head off down the road. I guess there was a lot of talk around a few years ago about getting some community wash downs, and I think Warwick, that's something that we should still advocate for and talk to the council about that. Moving sheep between properties. I guess most of you, the people in the room, are involved in farming some here. I pulled this out of a lot of the information that MPI and Osprey put out. So there are already quite a lot of rules around moving sheep around, along with the council regulations, not shifting sheep from Chilean needle grass properties to other properties. Now, you still have to fill out an ASD form moving sheep around. We advocate that there should be an agreement between the landowner and the person who is responsible for the animals. A lot of vineyards graze sheep, and there's responsibilities around making sure that you know who is responsible for them. Moving off Chilean needle grass for a minute, you must provide the person responsible for the animals a list of chemicals that have been used on the vineyard. NATE tags aren't required for sheep, but they still must be earmarked or identifiable in some way. Our recommendations are you keep records of all sheep movements, dates of movements, number of animals, transport companies, etc. Check new stock when it comes onto your vineyard, especially for Chilean needle grass. Limit unnecessary movement of animals, and check the New Zealand winegrowers spray schedule if you are bringing them onto a vineyard for the holding periods for spray residue. Another thing, at harvest is a time when things are really busy. People are working 24 hours, well, you know, the 12-hour shifts, working day and night. So another thing that we really like to highlight is hygiene and just biosecurity awareness at harvest. And I think that's all of my slides. Apart from this one, we have put out a fact sheet around Chilean needle grass best practice, breaking it down into vineyards that have light infestation, moderate infestation, and the core properties with heavy infestations. And Tim did a lot of work on this this fact sheet, and I've got copies over there. I won't go into it too much, but it really just reinforces one thing, which is vineyard hygiene, and then programs that you can work with in your vineyard depending on what level of infestation that are there. Are there any questions? Me and Hayden from Marlborough District Council went out a few weeks ago in another role, I was involved with the trials we did a few years ago. And really, what I'd like to do is advocate for the trials to be continued. Just kicking the can down the road, just doing what we've always done, I don't think is the answer. But I really think that the trials had value. Annette put together a great document that highlighted some successes and some failures there. But I think we still need to be pushing and innovating to try and control things like needle grass, so that we're actually looking for answers. Anecdotally, the trials that were done on Constellation, and I see we've got a few of the staff here, they are getting reinfestation into those blocks, but they have had a period of reasonable success. Would that be fair? Yeah. We looked at a block that we did some trials very similar to the stuff that Tim talked about before up on the Ryan's block, and that looked like it had worked very well. And after, I think that was done in 2017, nowhere near the infestation that had been there originally. And the last block that we looked at was the one on State Highway 1 at Akama. Do you want to talk to that, Tim? That still looks pretty good. We went.
It's come back big time, but the pastures, particularly the Nasella that was trialled in there, and the arrowleaf clover, I would definitely be putting that into my mix. The arrowleaf clover, that is just taken over, and outside, way outside that area as well. Yeah, but there's certainly plenty of needle grass in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Really, that's about all I've got for you. Is there anything else you'd like to hear from wine growers? Cool. Like I say, if anyone wants any of these resources, this resource here is available for anyone who's interested. And there's another pack down there for if there's any SWINS members.
Yeah, Jim, can I ask you a question?
Yep.
Hey, as you know, we don't have it in Tasman yet. So if we were for the wine growers, etc., around here, where would the most likely place be for it to show up if it was going to show up in Tasman? Yeah.
I would be looking for vineyards with links to Marlborough or even Canterbury. You might even be able to. Yeah, that's how I'd approach it. And once again, it's about surveillance. I would go out into those. Well, I would get someone to have a look at some of those properties that have links to Marlborough.
Yeah, so it'd be potentially shared picking machines, etc. You're thinking.
That would be one vector, but to be quite honest, it could be vehicles, it could be people. Yeah, right. But that's where I would do my initial surveillance.
Mm.
I found would probably be the least risky of all machinery. One being the opposite time of year it's seeding. Secondly, they're washing between vineyards big time. Yeah, they're quarantined a lot more than any other machinery. Mowers, tractors, that sort of stuff can get passed around.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have thought a harvest is probably the least of your
people
be
the key.
Yeah. Stop.
Can you hear that, Lindsay? And even like
yeah, thanks. That's helpful. That's useful. Yep, thank you.
Be even the dog, it's
right. Yeah, yeah. No, good one. Thanks for that.